Welcome once again to Everything We Do is Magic. This is the introduction to Chaos Magic, episode 7. Or as I've said before, it's my introduction to Chaos Magic, just telling you how I got from being a charismatic pastor to a Chaos Mage. And there's nothing that really sums up that the reason and the walk and the culmination of this walk more than the 6th principle of the Kabbalion. And I'll put a link in the notes to a Kabbalion resource page where you can look them all up. But the 6th principle is the principle of cause and effect. Now, the principle of cause and effect says that every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. You may recognize this by a more common term, karma. If you do something good happens to you. And that's an oversimplification of karma, because that's not at all what karma is about. Because karma takes into account all of the energy, all of the intent, everything that's associated with every act, because everything carries its own unique and succinct and individuated energy. So every part of that act, whether it's the words you speak, the motions you use, the scents that you're wearing, the food that you've taken in, the atmosphere and the area that you're around, all of these things can affect. So they're all going to have a cause and effect. And we need to stop looking at it as a negative or a positive effect, because that places us in the attitude of guilt and remorse and regret. Kabbalion says that the Hermeticists understand the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect. They do this to a certain degree. And by mentally rising to a higher plane, they become causers instead of effectors or effects. They become the initiators of the action rather than the receiver. From a personal standpoint, I've seen that this is kind of, the best way of putting it is it's moving from this idea of I'm guilty for these mistakes, these things that turned out, and trying to operate from a place of deserving of punishment. And that may be, the strong Judeo-Christian background that I came up in. But the reality is that everything that we've done because it was the best thing we knew to do at the time. Going even further on a personal note, I've had issues of self-worth in receiving things from others, that somehow I had to be worthy of it, and that I had fallen short in some way, and that I had to make up, and so I've always had a hard time receiving things, and all of that is again me allowing cause and effect to master me, rather than rising above it and seeing that it's not a matter of worth or unworth. Those are concepts that don't even belong to me. Those are concepts that others have tried to place upon me. That my understanding of my worth must come from within, and when it comes from within, there's nothing no external force that can shake that. And so that I'll know that when something comes into my life, it's because I am deserving of it. And Charlene and I have been generous in our lives. I guess the best way to talk about this is the idea of the butterfly effect. That if a butterfly flapping its wings in Colorado can cause a typhoon to hit Japan or something like that, because of all the sequence and series of events. And that's where our intent, that's where our mental acuity, that's where the understanding of these principles comes into play, is that as we see those events start to unfold, we rise above them, make mental changes with our intent, with our actions, with our words, with just the even the atmosphere around us, through our ideas, through our mind, through our will. And we can change it so that we are actually helping to play the game of life rather than being played and moved around at the will of others. Namaste.